Do some foods really cause cancer and other diseases? Can we eat our way to never getting sick? Should we avoid bread and milk, or it is just another nutrition trend? And what about supplements? Are they essential or just clever marketing? Join me on the podcast with Dr. Omar Nuhic, expert in functional medicine, regenerative therapies, and longevity science.
Dr. Nuhic, thank you very much for being a part of this podcast. Nice to have you with me.
Yeah, thank you for calling me, for inviting me to have this session together with you. So I think this is a really important subject to discuss. So I'm really glad that I'm today here with you.
You know what? You are a renowned expert in functional medicine and in health altogether, and you give a lot of interviews. But this interview will be a little bit different because the person interviewing you is not only a journalist, a professional journalist, but also a cancer patient. I just finished active treatment for triple negative breast cancer, and it seems like diagnoses are on the rise. 1 in 8 women, according to statistics, gets breast cancer, and every day people are reaching out to me. My friend has it, or my cousin has it, or I have it, etc., etc. Let me please get straight to the point. Is there anything in what we eat and what we consume that causes cancer?
Yeah, definitely. I would say there is a connection between food, but there are different environmental things that could influence potentially developing cancer, specifically breast cancer. So I've seen it in practice because we do a lot of testings regarding like heavy metal analysis, mold toxicity testing, microbiome testing, then different toxicity testing like phthalates and others. So I've seen various toxins present in patients that are being diagnosed with breast cancer or some different sort of cancers, because whenever we have seen there is like estrogen dominance or hormonal dominant cancer, so there is some sort of toxins that is leading to that. So for example, I've seen in almost all of them, I've seen high heavy metal analysis, high heavy metal presence. So for example, aluminum was really high, lead was really high, mercury was really high, and as well arsenic. So those are the fours that are being really high at really high values. So we usually do like provocative metal analysis. So we do that with DMSA or EDTA. So like that we stimulate next 6 hours secretion or excretion of metals. So like that you can check it inside. So those potentially could lead to different hormonal disbalance. And there is like there's one more test that's basically leading to understanding how cancer can potentially develop. So regarding hormonal stuff, it's called Dutch test. So basically like that, you're testing your hormones from urine. And it's really interesting because there is one pathway, it's called 4OH, which means like estrogen E1 is leading to that pathway, which is being like pro-cancerous, so pro-inflammatory. And whenever I've seen any kind of metastasis, or wherever I have seen like some sort of hormonal cancers, that pathway was mutated. So basically, what we have to do in that case, we have to stimulate more digestion of that specific part of estrogen with food, with changing our lifestyle. So those are the stuff that we have to focus on, and we have to move it. It's called methylation pathway. So we have to focus on various B vitamins. So specifically methylfolate, methylcobalamin, so which is basically B12 vitamin. So all of those stuff can definitely lead to more metabolizing these 4H group of estrogen. As well as there is one more thing that's really crucial. It's called cruciferous vegetables. So those are basically like cabbage, broccoli sprouts. So those stuff can definitely degrade more or digest more these 4H.
But how these toxins end up in our body in the first place?
Yeah, so there are definitely situations how we can get them inside ourselves. One is food, 100%, because there is one more thing. It's called glyphosate. So this is a herbicide, which by Cancer Research Institute definitely was considered as cancerogenic substance. So, and it could lead to various cancers. So glyphosate is one of those that's being present in almost all food types. So from grains to dairy products and others. And that's why we have to have them organic. We have to watch for whole foods, organic ones that are being like properly grown and like cropped later on. So these are the stuff that we have to really, really focus on. And I wouldn't specifically choose specific substance. If I like, if I would say there is one specific food that's leading to cancer, I wouldn't say that. I would say like we have to firstly focus on organic food and then later on profile all of these other substances. For example, we have to adjust some things to yourself because your body is different than someone else's. And my opinion today is that we are not going deeply into analysis of human body. So we are just getting to superficial stuff. For example, okay, we defined that that's triple breast cancer, like triple hormonal stuff. So we have to focus on estrogen. We will give the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or biological, whatever. And we are not thinking about how one will digest specific sort of foods, how one will do detoxification later on. Because if you kill cancer cells, you have to have a way how to cleanse those cells later on. Because where they will be left, so where they will be stored later on, our body can't handle toxins. So there are different stuff that's really interesting in cancer patients. Like I've seen as well, there's mutation. It's called GSTM1 and GSTT1 gene, which is gene responsible for glutathione, which is substance that cleanses our body. So if we have mutation or deletion of that gene, so we cannot handle toxins. So we'll develop diseases a lot more faster. So this is really interesting. Yeah.
You mentioned something really interesting. You said you are actually an organic food advocate, but not all people have access to organic food.
I agree.
What do those people do? Because when we go to the supermarket, for example, we just buy normal vegetables, normal fruit or whatever, and there is just one shelf that says organic or bio, and not many people have access to it because it is expensive or they just can have nowhere to buy it. So what those people should do?
Yep. So we did as well analysis, for example, regarding the prices. So how much that will cost per month per person. So approximately it was like 250 to 500 euros, depending on additional to the usual cost of groceries. So that's one thing. Another thing is there is one page. It's called ewg.org. So this environmental working group, which basically tests each year, they basically update all groceries that are being treated all the time and the ones that are not being treated. So I would put myself in that position. If I can buy organic one, I would focus on that specific list of groceries. So for example, always at the top are berries. So always like blueberries, strawberries. Those are the ones that are being always sprayed, always treated, as well as tomatoes. So a few years ago, watermelon started to be at that top as well. So there are different ones that are being there. So you can enter it, just Google it basically, and it will list you all of the groceries. So like it's called clean 15 and dirty dozen. So 15 basically usually list of groceries that are not being treated, so you can buy them like in any kind of shop. But those that are being dirty dozen, so you should not use it if they are not organic. That's my advice. So if I have some budget that I'm being strict with, so I would focus myself to those 10 or 15 specific groceries. I will buy them organic, and other ones I will buy anywhere that I can find. But I will try to buy, if I can, I will try to buy them as well organic.
But it is not only prices, it is also access. For example, some people who do not live in the city are able to maybe to plan for themselves, but not many people are in that situation. So it's access as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I mean, anyways, I will definitely focus on those stuff. So even if I can't buy organic, I will focus on those specific groceries, and then I would add any kind of detox support that I can. So for example, specifically for the liver, I would always focus on phase 1, phase 2 detox pathway. So for example, putting cruciferous vegetables in that top, I mean, highest amount, if I what I can use. I would add there like milk thistle all the time. So I would add their sulfur containing foods like garlic, like onions. So those are the stuff that are being really beneficial. So yeah, I would put myself like that.
There is a lot of discussion around supplementation nowadays, and how to make a right decision for ourselves. Because sometimes I feel like it's a maze, and I do not know personally whether if pharmaceutical industries want to earn on me when they sell many things, or there is something that is really essential for human health. Because 200 years ago, 300 years ago, people did not use any artificial supplementations in tablets, pills, or powders or whatever. What is your take on that? Should we take supplements, and which supplements are a must?
Yeah, in cases of the diagnosis of cancer specifically, or any kind of autoimmune disease, I would go for it, but I would go with really highly certified or tested companies, because this is, I mean, there's, I think, like, I read a few days ago, I think there's like 50,000 companies of supplements in the world. So this is, I mean, huge industry. So right now, I mean, it's really hard to understand who is producing and what is one producing. So if there is any contamination of heavy metals, are they being processed? Are they being basically tested on that nutrients that they are accused that they have, basically, or they provide some sort of paper or something that they, for example, have like 50 milligrams of turmeric inside, or they have like CoQ10 that's being 100 milligrams inside. And usually what's found out that basically they don't have those kind of nutrients inside, even they claim that. So that was really surprise for me that they can sell it like just like that easily. And for example, specifically, there's like probiotic, how can I say, probiotic field. So where you can see, for example, that like there is $50 billion a year. So that's industry, basically. So that's how much money is spent on that. And like 99% of those probiotics are being, they don't have bacteria that they claim that they have. When you, for example, send it or buy it, so when it comes to your table and then you test the supplement, so you usually don't have those bacteria inside. So you
So
have
it's
much less.
really hard to make a right decision for oneself.
Yeah,
I'm asking on behalf of all the healthy people that want to take supplements, or they think they need supplements. So what are the supplements that people should necessarily take every day? Is it vitamin D? Is it omega-3? Is it magnesium? Which magnesium again? Is it calcium? Is it something else? So what would you say it is a must today for a normal healthy person?
yeah. So for normal healthy person, I would say like multivitamin, definitely, but methylated form, because what we've seen in practice, like at least 50% of patients have mutation on this methylation part of genes. So I would usually, I personally take that. So always take multivitamin, especially if I train more, or if I have physical activity that's being more than usually. So I supplement myself more with multivitamins. Then second stuff is vitamin D, definitely. So I would supplement that, but high quality company. From time to time, I take high quality probiotics from specific companies. I mean, I wouldn't do marketing for anyone here, but I mean, if someone wants, I can let it later on, like in some sort of like document or something, from where I buy myself supplements. The third stuff is I would from time to time take as well turmeric, or some sort of even today, for example, um, if there is any kind of gut issues like bloating, gases, from time to time, I would focus on gut reset. So like for example, what I do for my gut is I do zinc-carnosine. I take zinc-carnosine, so I take probiotics with that, high quality. I take marshmallow root from time to time. I take as well glutamine with those stuff. So like basically, usually I'm trying to buy a supplement that contains all of those stuff in one, if it's possible. So which is high quality. So I don't have to take like 5, 6 pills for just supporting my gut. So but the food definitely is crucial. So supplements are just being add on variant. So if I'm eating garbage food, there is no supplement that will help. That's what I usually say to my patients when they come. So you cannot just buy and drink supplements and think you'll be fine. So there is no such a way like that. Or maybe you could just stop the progression of disease like that, but there is no way you'll be better in like next few months. So you have to reset your whole system. You have to reset your whole lifestyle. So you have to work on your food. You have to work on your sleep. You have to work on your emotions. You have to work on your physical activity, and then supplements are add on. Otherwise, you're just having expensive stool, nothing else.
You don't benefit from it. So I will ask one question on behalf of all cancer patients. When I was first diagnosed with breast cancer, I started Googling what should I eat, and I couldn't find any relevant sources in our language. I was Googling in English, and this is the reason why we have this conversation in English today, because we want as many people as possible to benefit from the podcast. Is there anything that cancer patients should eat or should not eat in your take? And what is
Yeah.
the biggest cancer nutrition myth?
Okay, so there are a few of them definitely regarding the myths, but if I would say like there's regarding to my previous point, so like focusing on organic food, but still there are different profiles that we should focus on. So there's myth like regarding taking ketogenic diet. So there is myth regarding just doing juices and like you'll heal cancer with just juices. So you'll heal cancer with I don't know, avoiding just sugar. So those are the stuff that are being myths. So we have to add all of those segments so to have high quality diets that during the chemotherapy specifically. So for example, I'm not advocate of just doing diets like, for example, today is popular, it's like this, just eating whole foods without eating meat, without eating any kind of sugary foods. Like, if I say sugary, I'm meaning on honey or some sort of that are being processed, if I can say like that. So I would, in cancer patients, usually what I advise is focus on cruciferous vegetables, avoid dairy products, avoid at the first stage gluten, and avoid any kind of sugary beside those natural ones. So
Why?
just limit them. Yeah. So first thing is because if I'm taking dairy products, if even if it's organic, if I take like that, I could stimulate more inflammation because already when I have when I'm receiving chemo or radiotherapy or any kind of biological therapy, I have already changed my terrain. So terrain is important. It's not just regarding like substance. So if my terrain is like giving cancer food, so I have to change the terrain. So there is no other way how can I heal myself from cancer without changing the terrain. So my terrain has to be in any decreasing inflammation. So it should be like normal stuff there. So my microbiome should be adjusted as much as possible. My insulin should be adjusted as much as possible because those stuff are being changed all the time in cancer patients. So you have high insulin values, and that's why you reach more for sugary foods. You have high cravings for dairy products because you have usually candida or yeast infection beneath in your gut. So you have how could I say you're basically reaching for more foods that are being processed because all of these yeast bacteria that are being pro-inflammatory, they are feeding themselves on those stuff. So that's why I would definitely move from dairy, move from gluten, move from sugary stuff, and then focus these first few months on those stuff just to change my microbiome.
Is it a
And then
general advice for normal people as well? Then, if gluten and lactose are something that can cause infection in our body, then is it a general advice to avoid it altogether?
yeah, so I wouldn't do that if I don't have a reason for those stuff. So if I'm eating organic food, usually I wouldn't limit anyone to just avoid gluten or to avoid dairy products or to avoid natural sugar forms. But there should be a limit regarding like amount of using those stuff. So I shouldn't eat like 1 kilos of oranges or something like that because it should be a balance between everything. So regarding dairy products, usually and gluten, I decide that with the patients when we do genetic testing, when we do DNA testing. So like that, I could see like, is the gene for gluten mutated? Is the gene for lactose and casein mutated or not? If they are mutated, so I'm not using those stuff because they could lead to pro-inflammation and then basically make all of these issues later on. So there is no way that some sort of microorganism could lead to potential diseases if my terrain is fine. So we should focus always on the terrain.
You know what is really confusing me as an amateur in this field?
Yep.
Human species exist for so many thousands, hundreds, millions years, whatever, and as well as cows, as well as gluten, as well as bread. And nowadays, everybody is telling us, do not eat bread, do not drink milk. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, so that was confusing for me as well at the beginning. But the thing is, we have changed a lot of our genetics. So regarding like mixture, regarding expression of the specific genes, because due to our environment, so we are eating garbage food at least last 100 years a lot. So we are using industrial foods that are being processed, treated with herbicides. So those things can change the genetics. So like that, there are a lot of people right now or today that they cannot digest a lot of those foods. Usually that was not the case because how we prepared foods, how we eat the foods. For example, there's one really interesting situation. Like in USA, when I was there for education and stuff. So whenever I eat it gluten, like I was eating organic all the time. But whenever I used that food, I had a reaction. I had bloating. But I don't have genes for I mean I have genes to digest gluten. They're not mutated. But whenever I eat it here, I don't have problem at all in Europe because
Hmm.
then I went to literature, and then it's shown that usually gluten inside in USA it's GMO and it has a lot more proteins than one in the Europe. So we are not eating the original food at all. That's the problem as well. So we are eating mutated form of the foods that existed before. So those are really, really important things. Even the dairy cows. So I was discussing with a few of my colleagues uh, that cows today they are not clean cows, or how could I say it, specific to this region, for example. So there we are importing cows from Romania, from Bulgaria, from China, from wherever. So those are the cows that are not being adjusted to the climate that we are living here. So we should focus on fruits or animals if you are going to eat them. So from specific regions. So from our region where we live, because our genes are adjusted to our region. They're not adjusted to USA. They're not adjusted to Romania. They're not adjusted to Russia. So all of these regions, because of temperature changes of food that are being grown there, so they're different. So we have to adjust those stuff. Okay, if I eat it one time or 5 times, whatever, I will not have a problem. But if I'm eating something continuously, then I could develop specific inflammatory systems in my body.
That is, you know what is also very interesting to me? The way you combine spiritual practice with modern medicine, and it's a really unique approach. I loved it, I have to admit. The way you rely on life and narration of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is really more than inspiring. And is there anything in Islam, in the practice of Prophet Muhammad, in terms of food and lifestyle, that the modern science is discovering today as something essential for longevity and for health?
Yeah, a few months ago, I've written a book, ebook, basically. You can, I mean, even download it from our webpage. So it's free for everyone. It's like 100 pages long. So short, like summary of the stuff that are being connected with science from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or Islam. So yeah, I've seen a lot of those stuff that are being today tested and confirmed, but science will just try to handle all of this information. It will take time to confirm all of these things that are being said 100 1400 years ago, because for example today, like I think maybe 10 years ago, they confirmed like just doing sajda, or when you pray and you put your forehead on the ground, that you are basically stimulating relaxation, that you are resetting your whole stress system. And like doing meditation or prayer, basically they're saying today that even most important to do it before sunrise, because like that you can reset your system. And today they are confirming those stuff, and these things are being said to us like 1400 years ago. So that's one thing. Another thing, for example, regarding like black seed oil. So for example, that was really interesting for me because in a few of hadith it said that whenever you basically that in using black seed oil, you can have cure for any kind of disease. And
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about those things a lot. What I've seen in practice, definitely when I incorporate all of those stuff that are being said at specific time, I have results. If I use it before those stuff, then I will not have probably any kind of results, because I have to fix terrain to get the full benefit of specific groceries. grocery or specific food. So for example, in this case of honey or black cumin seed, so if I want them to help my thyroid gland, I have to adjust inflammation in my gut and then add black seed oil, and then I'll see results with my thyroid gland. So for example, there is one research that's shown that using black seed oil for 8 or 12 weeks, it just lowers TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone for 1.5, I think. So just using that without changing your food. So this is amazing. So
like before breakfast, or just a teaspoon, a tablespoon?
yeah,
What's the best
it
way to
was,
take it?
if I remember correctly, it was, I think, around 10 milliliters a day usage. So they didn't
Okay.
define when you should use it, but usually how I use it in my patients is if they don't have any issues with the gut, I use it, for example, on before any kind of meal, before breakfast or lunch or dinner. So I use it like that. If they have issues with the gut, then I postpone it after the lunch or breakfast or dinner, because like that your body could more easily digest the ingredient inside black seed oil.
Okay, and if hypothetically Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived today, how would he eat and how would he live in the modern time circumstances?
Yeah, that's really a good question. I mean, I suppose that a lot of food that we are eating today that are being categorized as halal, they are not being halal. Why? Because my opinion, at least, is from getting to all of these medical details and stuff, reading the science. Food cannot. I mean, definition of halal is basically something that does not harm as well. So if I'm eating food that are being non-organic ones or treated ones, or I'm drinking cola or eating burgers or pizzas, whatever, those are pro-inflammatory stuff. They cannot, my opinion is, they cannot be halal because they damage your body. I say my opinion. I cannot discuss for any kind of scholars, Islamic scholars. So they have to decide those stuff. But my opinion is, because I've seen in practice, for example, just using one burger, it could raise your blood sugar like to 16, 17 from 6. So as well as drinking few drops of cola or some sort of sodas, so it could as well skyrocket your blood sugar value. So those stuff cannot be halal. My opinion is, because like that you're just damaging your body. You're leading yourself to developing various diseases. Because what is the benefit besides feeding my soul, if I can say like that, using, for example, cola or eating Milka or some sort of chocolate that's being highly processed? What benefit is there? None. So I'm just satisfying my need inside myself, but I'm not feeding my body at all. So I don't give my body any nutrients. I'm just putting it to inflammation. I'm giving it only calories, nothing else. So this is really important to understand, because we as a Muslim specifically, or if I can say whole earth, so we are trying to satisfy our soul. We are not thinking about our body, because how can I do any kind of prayer or meditation or doing like any kind of ibadah if my body is in damage, if my body is in inflammation state? No, it's not possible at all. Because I know, for example, when I was sick, I couldn't read even Quran. I couldn't even pray. I was like praying while I was sitting or laying down. So it was feeling like I'm not. I cannot say it was really weird. Like I was cheating something, because I prayed because I need it. I don't pray because Allah needs that. I prayed because I need Allah. So those are the stuff that I couldn't manage because my body was damaged totally. So I could not secrete enough dopamine. I could not secrete enough serotonin. Those neurotransmitters that are being responsible for satisfaction. So I mean, if we want to help ourselves on both worlds, so we have to focus on high quality food and lifestyle, how we live.
Holistic approach, indeed.
Yeah, 100%. And for example, if we just get back to the Prophet ﷺ, so a lot of days he was fasting. Today, we are fasting only if we must during the month of Ramadan. But we can incorporate that in every day. So why someone that's not being even religious has to tell us that we have to fast? And unfortunately, that's what's happened last 20, 30 years. So when they started to incorporate intermittent fasting as some sort of, how can I say, therapy, and basically like that, there is one guy, his name is Jason Fung. So he wrote a book regarding type 2 diabetes, how he healed type 2 diabetes with just fasting. without anything else. So he definitely opened my eyes. Like it was 10 years ago when I started to reading about all of these things, and I've seen like different approaches, and then that was the turning point in my life when I said, listen, why someone that's not being religious have to tell you what's good for you? So whatever Prophet ﷺ said, it's 100% true, but I have to check those details, and I have to open this
Thank you.
cage of misinformations.
Thank you so much. It was really inspiring talking to you, and I really hope that many people will benefit from everything being said here.
Yeah, thank you for everything, Ada. I mean, I hope. We'll just continue to develop and give more awareness to all of the people around. Even if they don't have diagnosis, they have to be aware that at some point of time, if they continue to do those stuff, they will be with some sort of diagnosis, whatever it is.